Hey everybody, it's Trevor here with the channel where every day is range day, and in this week's video we're going to be going through my 2022 EDC setup. Let's check it out. Now if you checked out our video last week, you would have seen Matt go through his EDC setup in what is part one of our three-part EDC series for what we're all carrying here on the channel every day in 2022. I'm here for part two with what I carry every day, and much like Mac's video, I'm going to focus pretty much on just what I like to carry on my person. I usually have a backpack and some stuff with me all the time or in the vehicle, so there's a lot more things than just what I have here, but we're going to stick with exactly what's on my person with me every single day. And just a disclaimer up front, these are items that I've all purchased with my own money. None of this has been sent to me, and we're not sponsored by any of the companies I might be talking about today. So again, starting up first with more of the firepower behind my EDC, we'll go over my everyday carry firearm, which is of course unloaded. If you've been following the channel for a little while, you'll probably be familiar with what I use as my EDC firearm, but I'll go over it pretty quick here. What you see here is started out as a stock Gen 5 Glock 19, and I have carried this same firearm every day as my EDC gun for the past 2 years or so. And over the course of that time, as you've seen on the channel, I've done a couple upgrades to it apart from just the stock Glock. First thing that came around was of course the optics milling. The stock Glock slide did not come optics ready, so I sent my slide off to Jagerwerks to get the downrange cut that you can see here, and I had it milled for the RMR footprint. The RMR footprint's pretty popular, and Jagerwerks did a phenomenal job on the slide work. Check out our video on the Jagerwerks slide milling if you want to learn more, but I would highly recommend them for slide milling services. Of course, I got the RMR cut, which does fit the optic I have seated on top, which is the Holosun 508T version 2. We're big fans of Holosun here on the channel, and the 508T version 2 offers all of the great features we know and love from them. It's got the circle dot reticle, which I'm personally a huge fan of, shake awake, and a bunch of other nice features. The battery life is phenomenal and still going strong, and the titanium housing offers a good bit of durability. Going on from there, I do have the Trijicon Bright and Tough suppressor height night sights as backup irons from here, but I don't really use those too much now that I've got the red dot going. From there, the next upgrade that came along was of course the Talon grips that you can see on here. Just something to give me a little bit more extra texture over the stock Glock grip texture there. This is the Pro Granulate material. Also did a video on the channel that you can check out. And it's a pretty happy medium between being something super aggressive and something that's just a rubber grip. Being that this is a concealed carry firearm, it's rubbing up against my skin every now and again. And I didn't want something super aggressive like the sandpaper texture that could be rubbing against me all day. So this Pro Granulate really helps with that. And last but not least is of course the weapon light that you can see here. This particular weapon light is the Inforce Wild 2 weapon light. Much like Mac's weapon light, this does extend past the muzzle a good bit. Some people may or may not like it, but it does give the added advantages of one, being able to use the bezel as a means of striking if you need to, but it also helps defend the front of your slide from being pushed out of battery should you happen to be pushing it against something in a self-defense situation. Again, some people don't like the larger light sticking out like this for discomfort reasons and things like that, but I'm a big fan of it for the defensive purposes it can also offer, and plus I just think it looks really neat. I mean, look at that right there. I'm also a big fan of having extra strong lumens on here. This is a 1000 lumen weapon light, and I've been pretty happy with the Inforce Wild 2 so far. Apart from the firearm itself is of course the ammo. Also like Mac, I have the Hornady Critical Defense hollow point ammunition that I carry in my EDC for defensive purposes. I use the 115 grain projectile that I've talked about in a video before, and again the Hornady Critical is a solid defensive round. It's proven, it has great ballistics, and it's definitely popular with a few of us here on the channel. To go with the gun, of course, I do have an appendix style holster, which is also very popular with us here at Range Day, and I happen to have the Tier 1 Concealed Axis Elite appendix holster that is of course light compatible for the Inforce Wild 2. This is what the setup looks like all kitted out, and I do have a spare mag with a +5 mag extension from Terran Tactical on the side. This gives me plenty of ammunition with 15 plus 20 is 35 plus 1 in the pipe for 36 rounds. Again, appendix carry is very popular with us here at the channel, and the Axis Elite features a nice little flex feature here in the middle that gives you just a little bit more comfort. I also have a wedge here on the back to help push the gun a little bit more into my body. It helps a little bit with comfort for relieving some pressure down here on the weapon light itself, and also reduces printing a good deal from the grip on the weapon. There's a lot of good options for appendix holsters on the market, like the T-Rex Arm Sidecar. Tier 1 Concealed also makes some good options. But we're just a big fan of the appendix carry setup in general. It's very comfortable, it's very quick to get to when you need it, and I wouldn't want to carry any other way for my EDC. And be sure to check out the other videos on the channel for individual reviews or overviews of anything else you might see here. But apart from just the firearm part of things, there are a couple other items that a lot of us tend to carry on the channel in our EDC setups, and some other things that are just more or less core to what an EDC setup really is. And the theme you'll notice for myself going forward is that going into 2022, I wanted to change a little bit about what I carried every day. I just felt that my old setup just had too much bulk. By the time I had everything in my pockets and on my person, there was just too much stuff, and I couldn't get something out of my pocket without pulling everything out. I just had too much stuff in the way. So I wanted to go with a little bit more minimalist approach to some of the items that I carry. Make things that didn't need to be as big, smaller, keep everything that I needed to keep, but try to take some of the bulk out of it. So you'll notice that when I go through a couple of these next items. The first item that I tried to reduce a little bit of bulk from was my EDC flashlight, apart from the weapon light. I used to have just some bigger pocket carry flashlight that usually just found its home in my backpack because it was just too bulky and I couldn't fit it in my pocket with my phone or anything else. It was just too big. So recently I picked up the Streamlight Micro Stream that you can see here. It's a good bit smaller, it's pretty thin, about the same thickness as like a pen or a pencil or something like that. It's only like 3.5 inches long. Again, this isn't going to be used as a defensive light, that's what I have the Wild 2 for, so lumens and candela and massive brightness really aren't what you need this for, but it's just nice to have a little EDC pocket flashlight for if you're looking into things that are dark or things like that. The Micro Stream has about a 3-hour battery life on one battery. It is waterproof and I believe it comes in somewhere around 50 lumens or something like that. Again, lumens aren't the most important thing, but in terms of an EDC handheld flashlight, this little guy fits the bill perfectly for me. It reduced a lot of bulk and it's super easy to carry around in my pocket. The clip here is pretty good. It could probably be a little bit better. Sometimes when I pull my phone out, I do end up snagging this and it comes out with it, but that's only if it snags or something. It doesn't happen all the time. Again, I do carry this usually in my right pocket with my phone, and there's usually not much else in there. It's been a perfect addition for me due to its reduced size, and it is plenty bright for what it is. Another common item in some EDC setups are pocket knives. I happen to have 2 different ones that revolve with me based upon where I'm at and what I'm doing. I usually have both of them on me, but only one of them is usually on my person while the other one's in a backpack. If I'm in a bit more of a nicer setting, you know, not outside doing field work or something like that, or in an office, I usually have this little guy on my person, which is the Pike pocket knife from TJB or the James brand. As you can see here, it's pretty thin and not the longest of pocket knives. It doesn't have any fancy tactical serrations or, you know, spring-loaded release or anything like that, but it is an incredibly sleek and well-made pocket knife. The liners are made out of synthetic G10 and it does have about a 2-inch blade or so on it. Came out of the box razor sharp. It's a quality chromoly vanadium steel, so it's going to last a long time and keep its edge very well. When I'm not out in the field or doing anything like that where you need a bigger knife, this is a perfect fit for me. It reduces a great bit of bulk, it fits easily in any of your pockets, and it's super lightweight, you won't even know it's there. And that was a big thing I wanted to integrate into my EDC setup. I was tired of being bogged down with just carrying too much weight, too much stuff. This little knife from the James brand is perfect for me and I absolutely love it. The edge is again razor sharp and I've been super happy with it for the past couple months that I've had it. And I'll definitely continue to carry it in situations where I just don't need a bigger knife. Think of it more like an office or a casual, more professional setting. But there are some times where I am doing some things in the field or I just need a bit heftier of a knife on me. Everybody has those situations. And for that, I have this knife here, which is the Cryo 2 from Kershaw. Again, compared to the James brand knife, it is a good bit bigger, especially on the width front, and a lot longer. Taking a look at it, I have the stonewash finish, and it does have a pretty nice pocket clip here on the side. You can move it to one of 4 positions, top, bottom, on either side of the knife, based on how you want to carry it. It also features Kershaw's silky smooth spring-assisted release that you can see here. You just pull back on this little nub poking out and it launches right out. You don't even need to flick your wrist or anything. I'm super impressed by the action of the Cryo 2 here. I've definitely been a big fan of that when I'm using it. The blade is about 3 1/4, 3.5 inches or so, and it was also superb coming out of the box. I didn't need to sharpen it. I still don't need to sharpen it after having used it for a couple months, and it has been holding up very, very well. I've been very impressed with the knife. It has a very sleek and attractive look to it, and it's also got a nice weight to it, a nice heft, and it fills my hand quite well with the larger handle. Your index finger tucks up nicely under the same nub that you use to release the knife, and then you can just get a super solid grip on it with these serrations on the back and just the overall shape of the handle. This is again what I carry on me when I'm out more doing field type work, and you might need to do something a little bit more than just opening some boxes or cutting some straps off of something. And I've been super happy with this guy. I could flip this knife open all day. The action is just so super smooth. I've been very happy with it. Again, I carry each of these two knives for different reasons, but they both feature top quality parts and top quality feel in their actuations. Again, the spring release on the Kershaw here is super silky smooth, and the James brand knife, being just a friction folder, just has that quality feel to the pieces when you move them. It locks firmly in place, and then when you're ready to close it, just snaps back right to where it's supposed to be. Again, a quality knife. MSRP on the Kershaw here is something like $80 or $90 from the Kershaw website, but the street prices put this more at around 50 bucks. It's a super good knife for that price if you ask me, and I've been super happy to add it to my EDC, especially when I've been doing outside or just need a heftier knife for some heavier cutting. The James brand knife is actually a little bit more expensive, believe it or not, partly because it's marketed as more of a luxury or higher quality type item. It's a little bit more in the $100 range or so, but it's absolutely perfect for somebody that still wants a pocket knife on them, wants to reduce a bit of bulk, which is definitely what I was after. And the last thing I'll talk about in my EDC, which is again another item that I was definitely seeking to reduce some bulk on, is my wallet. Prior to my new wallet we're going to see here in a second, I had just like a leather bifold type thing. Nothing wrong with it, but by the time I had all my cards and maybe some papers or a little bit of cash in there, it just got too bulky in my same pocket with my keys and a knife and everything else. It's another item that I think I could just condense a little bit to be a bit more minimalist. And that's where I came in with the Ridge wallet here. Again, we're not sponsored by Ridge wallet or anything, and I had seen them, of course, in the ads that you see on the internet. Figured I'd give this a try, and I have the black Damascus pattern Ridge wallet. If you're not familiar with them, they're more or less just a minimalist wallet that's basically designed to only carry cards, with a little clip on the back if you happen to carry cash. I wanted to switch to this because I basically don't carry cash, so I didn't really have too big of a need for a bifold type wallet. Of course, I have the money clip option here on the back just to carry some papers, notably being my concealed carry permit for one of those. Gotta make sure you have that in there. Then otherwise, I just put the couple cards in here that I usually have with me all the time. But the Ridge wallet has also been a phenomenal way of reducing some bulk. It basically just stacks up the cards you need. Some of these I could probably even take out, but it has greatly reduced the footprint of the wallet in my pocket. You can see here with the Streamlight and the James brand knife that I carry, all of these items are super small and about the same height. This has been a perfect size combination for me, and I can fit all of these in the same pocket with much less bulk than I had been previously with what I've been carrying. And the Ridge wallet was probably been the biggest improvement because the wallet was honestly the bulkiest thing I had been carrying. It's pretty simple design. It's just two solid plates on either side with whatever design or print you choose. I believe they're even made out of titanium, so they're definitely strong and definitely a good quality material. You have a little elastic strap that joins them together, and you just push your cards out like this and slip them back in there when you're done. I've been a big fan of this Ridge wallet since I've switched to it. I'm definitely glad I added to my EDC. It definitely cuts down on the bulk. And that looks like it's gonna about do it for my everyday carry setup, guys. Of course, I usually have a backpack on me, and that's usually where I house like a multi-tool, a calculator, bigger flashlights, and some things like that. But again, this is only what I carry on my person every day. We went over my everyday carry firearm in the Tier 1 Concealed Access Elite holster, which was, of course, my Glock 19. I have it outfitted with the optic and weapon light, of course, and we have videos on the channel of everything that you see here if you're interested. We also touched on the other items that I like to carry, and my goal with these for 2022 is to go with a bit more of a minimalist approach and reduce some bulk while still carrying everything I wanted to carry. The first item that helped me do that was Micro Stream handheld Streamlight here. 40 or 50 lumen handheld light here, but it's a great compact size. I absolutely love it. Barely even feel it in my pocket. After that, we talked knives a little bit. I usually have one of these two on me at any point in time, so I went over both of them. When I don't need a heavier duty knife, I like this little one from the James brand. Again, I was trying to reduce some bulk in my everyday carry while still having a good solid knife on me. This one has been razor sharp and it's made with super high quality materials. Even the action and the friction folding here is super top quality. Been really happy with it. But of course, when I've been doing some outdoor stuff or some fields work, sometimes you just need a heftier knife, and that's where the Kershaw Cryo 2 came in handy for me. It's still pretty flat, so it fits in the pocket without too much bulk, but it is definitely a bit more of a heftier and larger knife, of course, compared to the other one I just talked about. But it's been definitely a high quality knife, not crazy expensive, and I definitely liked having it for the past couple months or so. And of course from there we discussed the Ridge wallet that I switched to. My old wallet was probably the bulkiest thing that I carried every day apart from the firearm itself. And the Ridge wallet has definitely helped because really all I do is carry cards around. I still have the money clip if I happen to have cash, but just carry some permits and other documents so you gotta have it around, and it's overall greatly reduced the bulk in what I carry every day. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like down below, and we also want to know what you use for your EDC. Drop it down below in the comments, and also make sure if you have any questions about what I talked today, leave those there too. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel, where every day is range day. Thanks for watching.